3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to Geekvice episode 236, proving any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. My name's Morph. That man's Kip. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening.
How are you doing this lovely Tuesday night?
Not too bad. The weather was awesome today.
Yeah, it was pretty good today. I was pleasantly surprised.
After like more than a week of cloud cover, it was nice to see the sun come out and
Right?
stay out.
I forgot what that was.
It's
Yeah.
like, what is that bright light in my face?
Yeah, the other nice thing that I had is I only had to be at the office half a day today because my kids got out of school. My kids are out of school all the rest of this week. So,
Why?
um, parent-teacher conferences tomorrow and Thursday, and then everybody gets Friday off. So, I only worked half a day today. Well, I worked the whole day, but I only worked at the office for half the day, and then I came home and worked the other half of the day. And I'll be home all day tomorrow with them. And but I don't mind working at home. Like, I actually feel better about working at home than I do sitting in my office. So I get more stuff done at home. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
It's opposite of me. When I work from home, I don't seem to get as much done.
yeah.
Too many distractions.
Well, usually I just kick my kids out of the room, and well, when they're down here, because this is where the gaming happens over here. When they're down here, it makes it really hard to work. So at one point this afternoon, they came down and were playing Lego Marvel Superheroes, and the fighting and bickering of how do we get past this? Where do we go? Hey, come over here! You're going the wrong way. Come back here! Like that. Like, I was finally like, okay, you guys got to turn this off. Go find something else to do because I'm trying to do math and my head is not working right now. Like, oh, I'm having to do project management type stuff, and my head is just going, ugh. So,
I hate when that happens.
yeah. Yeah, and for those of you that are looking for this live and not finding this live, because this is, the video will get up on YouTube eventually, but you're wondering why it wasn't there, YouTube's having some problems tonight, so we're recording this all offline, and we're not the only ones, because as I have my Twitter feed going, my other podcast that I listen to, the Major Spoilers podcast, they're recording right now as well, and it's not on YouTube either. So apparently YouTube's having some problems tonight.
Yeah, they did something.
Yeah, well,
They broke it.
yeah, I know, and there's some updates coming for YouTube in 2019 for the Creator Studio stuff, and I'm wondering if that's part of the problem. I wonder if they might have tried to push something through and it caused an error with something that was already there, but I don't know. Not my problem. They got to fix it. Not my fix. I can't do nothing with it. So, yeah, but that's what we're doing here. I don't know, anything else going on here? Let's see. We got lots of stuff going on. Oh, I know what I need to talk about. I need to talk about this disaster of a movie that I watched. Yeah, so here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the tone. We talked about the rainy, crappy weather. Well, that meant that we couldn't go outside, soccer games and stuff got canceled. So we had some free time. Well, not really free time. We had some time stuck indoors on our hands, and the kids wanted to watch a movie, and I was done watching the animated movies that they wanted to watch, so I'm like, we gotta watch something else. And they picked Spider-Man. They wanted to watch Spider-Man. I'm like, okay, great. Well, let's watch Spider-Man Homecoming. That's the newest one, and that one's really good, and I like it. And they're like, well, but I think we've seen that one. Let's watch a different one. Let's watch one we haven't seen. And I'm like, okay, well. And Conley, my youngest one's like, I want to watch Spider-Man 4. I'm like, there is no Spider-Man 4. He's like, but there's a Spider-Man 3. Yes, there's a Spider-Man 3, and we're not going to watch that one. So you can pick any other Spider-Man movie, not Spider-Man 3. So then they start flipping through our guide of all the movies that I have on the server, and they found Amazing Spider-Man. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's watch Amazing Spider-Man. And they're like, well, we've seen that one. What about 2? Let's watch Amazing Spider-Man 2. And for some reason, my Plex server said that I'd watched this movie. And I was pretty sure that I had not watched this movie because I didn't remember. I remembered who was in it, but I didn't remember the story about it. And I'm like, oh, I remember this is the one that's got Electro in it and Gwen Stacy. And I remember the first one. The first one's where Gwen Stacy's dad dies. Okay, yeah, let's watch this one. I don't know that I've seen this one, so we can watch this. Well, we watched it, and we watched it.
Yeah, I can tell you were really excited about this.
We had to break it up over 2 nights because we ran out of time. I still made the kids go to bed at a decent time, and because they still had to get up to go to school the next day, and so we broke it up. So watch the first half of it. We get done, and the kids are, they're frustrated because I'm making them go to bed. But I put them to bed, and I walk back into the bedroom, and Amber looks at me and goes, "That's not a very good movie." I'm like, "No, no." And I kind of remember why I hadn't watched this movie. It just wasn't very good. The story is not very good. I didn't like the premise of it. I really hated what they did with Electro. I making him, you know, uh, I don't know, infatuated with Spider-Man, and then get angry at Spider-Man when he becomes Electro. Like it was almost like the guy was delusional, or there wasn't it just didn't work for me. It was a bad villain. I didn't like the way they made him into a villain. Um, but then on the second night when we watched this movie, I truly remembered why I chose to not watch this movie and why I remember telling myself, there's no reason to ever watch this movie because they did the one thing in a movie that they did in the comic books that caused so much uproar. They decided to just go and recreate it into the movie itself and let Spider-Man kill somebody. And even unintentionally, that really hurt me. Like, I did not like that part. I did not like that happened in the movie, and I actually yelled out loud, no, right before it happened when she's falling. And I just said no. And I kind of sat up in the bed, and the kids all like looked at me and like, what? Why did you say no? And I'm like, just watch the movie. So then I had to go and explain to my 6-year-old and my 9-year-old the physics of superheroes and how that superheroes they can't save you the way that they save you in these movies and in TV shows because physics doesn't actually work that way. And that really bothered me. It bothered me more than actually, it bothered me exactly as much as I thought it would, which is why I hadn't seen that movie. Um, and this was I think the problem was I went into the movie not knowing this was going to happen. I remembered once the death of Gwen Stacy occurred, I remembered why. I remembered when this movie came out and the uproar that was there, but this movie came out a long time ago. Like, this isn't new. This movie came out in where's the date? 2014.
Really?
4 years ago.
Seems like it was a lot longer ago than that, but Mainly because I tried to put it out of my memory.
right? Yeah, yeah. April 2014. Yeah, it really bothered me. I did not like it. I was not happy with it, and when I got, when the movie was over, and the boys looked at me and go, "Well, can we watch Spider-Man? Where's Amazing Spider-Man 3?" I'm like, "They didn't make one." Reese is like, "They had to have made one. It was all set up for another movie." I'm like, "Yeah, but when you make your superhero a killer, uh, people don't want to see the superhero anymore." And he looked at me and he's
Well,
like, "Huh?" Like,
didn't
yeah,
Andrew Garfield first come out and say he didn't want to do it anymore?
I don't.
Or was that
No, I think what happened was this was, well, he might have. Um, he might have. I don't remember that part, but I do remember after this movie, this was when uh, th- this is when the rock bottom of Sony kind of happened, and Marvel and Sony came together and said that the next movie was going to be made with them working together as opposed to working apart. This was the second lowest grossing Spider-Man movie at the time. And this was also, 2014. That's also around that that's still right there, right in there with all the Marvel movies that were coming out and hitting it big and being big. And this movie flopped considerably, comparing it to the other Spider-Man movies. So it, my opinion is that that storyline that they used killed Sony's chance of continuing Spider-Man. Like without Marvel's help to rewrite it and reboot it and make it a upbeat and enjoyable movie. Which was kind of sad because I thought Andrew Garfield did great as Spider-Man. I thought
I
his
liked Andrew Garfield as Spider Man.
I thought he was witty. I thought the humor was good, the one-liners were good, and honestly, the I know I don't know, I don't remember if it was like this in Amazing Spider-Man, but I remember in Amazing Spider-Man 2, and you can kind of tell that the all the web swinging that Spider-Man does in that movie is all done with CGI. I thought it was great. Like I thought it looked great, and I loved the acrobatics and the twisting and turning that they had him doing in that. And I know that wasn't Andrew Garfield doing it. That was all CG. But I thought that stuff was great. I loved it, and I thought it added that little extra flair of that that Spider-Man had in the comic books, the crazy positions and flexibility that he had to be able to jump out of a window and be falling in one direction and turn his body and flip over and then swing a completely different direction. I thought that was great. Um, so I mean, there were some good parts to the movie, but the story was awful.
It was bad. And I was pretty excited about it because of Jamie Foxx and Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. I mean, there's some big hitters there.
Yeah.
And I hated Electro completely.
Yep.
They totally wasted Jamie Foxx on that role.
Yeah, they did. And
It was
yeah, yeah,
you're speechless.
it was that bad. And I really, not only that, but I didn't like Harry Osborn, and I didn't like Harry Osborn turning into the Green Goblin in that movie either. I
Yeah,
felt like that was short-sighted. I thought that was forced.
it was a Hail Mary.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't necessary, and the fact that, and then you throw in the Rhino at the very end of it. I was just like that. I mean, I understand what they were trying to do there, but they made it feel like they made it feel like Spider-Man was okay at the end but he shouldn't have been okay at the end. You know,
Yeah.
it for anyone who read the comic books when this happened in the comic books, the Spider-Man didn't turn around and go to be okay in the next issue. Spider-Man was down and didn't want to be Spider-Man for a lot of comic books. That I want to say it was probably, and I'm probably speaking out of my ass because it was so long ago, but I want to say it was you were probably looking at a calendar year before Spider-Man was Spider-Man again. And in the comic book world, that's forever. You know, that's 3 trade paperbacks or 2 trade paperbacks. That's a lot of comic books. And
Yeah.
this movie felt like it did it for shock value and then just swept it under the rug like it was no big deal. And I didn't like it. It was
Well, you
just
weren't the only
shitty.
one.
So yeah,
The beauty of it is you weren't the only one that hated it, and it's just one of those movies. It's just gonna go down as a lost opportunity, totally
yeah,
wasted opportunity, and it's also one of those with we're all gonna look back on it and say, I wish the MCU had control over that instead of Sony, because never know what they could have done with all of that.
yeah, yeah. And but you know, hey, if nothing else, if you want to look at the silver linings from this movie, from Amazing Spider-Man 2, the silver lining is that it created a chance for Marvel to swoop in, and you got Spider-Man Homecoming, which I thought was a great movie. So I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that movie, and I'm excited to see what else they do with it. So maybe Marvel can get their fingers back into it and can help Sony out, and they can do those movies right, and we can get another good one because I really liked Homecoming. So now I feel like I need to watch that to make myself feel better.
To scrub your brain.
Right, right. But yeah, that. Yeah, that's what happened for me this last week, and I wasn't really happy about it. But hey, you gotta watch bad things every once in a while, right? Everything can't be
That's,
perfect.
that's what I tell my wife. You have to watch the bad stuff so you can appreciate the good stuff even more.
Yeah, yeah. But
Because
hey,
she'll come in on me watching something on Netflix, and she's like, "What the hell are you watching?" I was like, "I don't know, but it's pretty awful." Well, why don't you turn it? Because I got to know how it ends.
right? Yeah, you gotta know. You gotta have something. So yeah, it's hey, it's all right. It's all good. We come back. The kids weren't traumatized by it like I was, so my wife didn't want to watch it again, so there's that. But
I don't blame her.
that's not all surprising. But we need to get back to watching the Marvel movies. We're still on we we haven't gotten very well. We went back and I started this a while ago, a long time ago. We started trying to watch these movies in chronological. That word's hard. Chronological order, and we got as far as Iron Man 3, and we've kind of stalled. But we have gone and watched. We've we went and watched Black Panther in the theater, and I've watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2. The kids have watched something else after that too. Ragnarok. I think they watched Thor Ragnarok with this. So we kind of got out of order. Now we need to go back and kind of go back and watch them in order. But
Yeah, it it's been something I've wanted to do is go back and revisit. But then again, I still have to see Ant Man and Wasp. That's the only one I have not seen.
you need to watch that
So
one. That one's really good too.
that's what I hear. I've just for some reason we didn't make it to the movie theater, and so now we're just waiting on the DVD release so
Yeah,
we
that's
can.
right. That's right. Yeah, we watched. Oh, it's out on DVD now. Go get it.
Well, we're not going to buy it. Are you kidding
Oh,
me? We're going to
yeah.
wait for it to get to the library.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, with Ant-Man and the Wasp, we saw that at the drive-in. You went and watched that at the drive-in this
Yeah,
last
see, that's
summer.
when
So
the world felt like it tilted its axis a little bit because you went to a movie before I went to a movie.
right, right, yeah,
So
and
if something felt weird that week to everybody in the world, that was the reason.
yeah, it's hey, it can happen. It can happen. I mean, I don't know that it's really happened more than that one time, but
And that's
uh,
probably been the only time, but
yeah,
and we survived it somehow. So
yeah.
that's good to know.
I don't. I'm looking forward to my kids getting a little bit older and just being able to do that because our neighbors across the street, they've got their kids are well, Princess Jossie, who I've talked about on this show before. She's 12 now, I believe. She's 12, and Pearson, her older brother, is like 15, 14, 15, one of those two. But now they've got like they can go see movies now. It's like they can all go and watch some of these movies, and it's like the kids want to go see them too, and so it's like, oh, they ended up getting like the AMC like movie pass, like premium level subscriber membership thing, so they get cheaper movie tickets and free stuff at the concessions and all that stuff because they go so frequently. It's like, oh, once my kids get to the point where they want to go see these movies as much as I do, then that'll definitely be worth it because then we can go and I won't have to pay as much.
Exactly.
Because when you gotta drop $50 just to go to see the movie, like for four people, it gets a little ridiculous. But I have to go at like 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. There's nobody there.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah, because what? Because nobody's up at 10 o'clock in the morning on Sunday.
If you've had a good Saturday, you're not up at 10 o'clock in the morning on Sunday.
That is true. That
That's why I'm
is
always up at
true.
that time.
Because you never have a good Saturday. Is that what you're saying?
Not a good enough one to make me want to sleep in any longer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with you, it could be you're up all night and like playing. Oh, playing like I don't know. Did you get the new Black Ops?
No,
No. Oh,
I didn't.
I just thought of that. I'm like, oh yeah, you usually get the new Call of Duty games. Call of Duty
Doesn't that
just came
usually
out.
come out in November?
No, it just came out this last week.
Did it
Last
really?
yeah,
Okay.
last Friday, Thursday, Friday,
Yeah.
something like that. So you didn't even know about it.
I knew it was
Oh,
coming out, didn't care. The last Call of Duty, I actually played quite a bit, but then I just stopped playing. And it's like, well, I'm not going to drop another 60, $70 on a game that I may not play that often. So
yeah, I get it.
we'll just see. Bloodborne has kind of ruined me.
Too good, huh?
I'm playing it the second time through, and it's just as good the second time as it was the first time.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's a good thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a guy that I work with, and him and I play. Well, we've played some video games together, and he made the comment. Him and I are both playing XCOM 2, or were, and he kind of put that aside and started playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and he, I think he just finished it up this last week and started playing XCOM 2 again, and he's like, that game is so good that you need to borrow a PlayStation 4 just to play it. Like,
Yep.
man, now I need. So I started asking around with people I know that have PS4s and see if I can maybe borrow a PS4. So, but
You probably will be able to when the PS5 comes out.
Right? Yeah. I just wish they would release some of these games for the computer. Just port them over to a computer so that I can play them. Or, make it to where you can put a Sony disk drive in a PlayStation disk drive into a computer.
Now that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure the hardware that I have in this computer is better than what's in your PS4. So I don't know why it couldn't
Oh
run it.
no, that's blasphemy. I don't
Well, I
know.
mean, it's newer hardware. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I'm
it's not
sure it
the
is, but
it's not the bash on the PS4, but they update computer hardware a little quicker than they do the consoles coming out. So, I mean, yeah, that's
yeah,
just
considering I bought that thing like 3.5 years ago.
yeah. Now, I mean, granted, there hasn't been a whole lot of change in hardware in the last, 3 or 4 years, but there's been some. So
Oh,
they
with
didn't,
computer hardware, 3 years I think is considered an antique.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, which is what my laptop that I was using to record on, I think that was about 3 years old, and it just couldn't hack it anymore. So,
Yeah, I think this one is older than that. Ooh, I can't remember when I got it. Long time ago. I got it before my PS4.
uh-oh, time to get a new one.
Yeah, it still works.
Yeah, well, and when you don't do as much of the high end, if you're not trying to play like Assassin's Creed games on it or trying to play Bloodborne on your laptop, then it's probably fine.
Yeah, I don't PC game. I don't know if that like ruins my credibility or what, but
No,
I'm not
no.
good with a mouse and a keyboard.
Yeah, well, oh shit, my kids actually pick stuff up. Oh, my controller's all the way over there now. Um, yeah,
Where it's supposed to be.
I have a wired Xbox controller that had been sitting right next to my computer because that's what I use to play Assassin's Creed on my computer and Rocket League because that's what my kids are into right now. Are playing Rocket League on the computer, so they they know how to plug in the controller and turn on Rocket League, and then they just use the controller to play. So no mouse and keyboard when you're playing action games at least, because I have that same problem. I don't work well with the mouse and keyboard. I get
Nope, it's
dizzy.
too much.
Yeah, my mouse moves too fast. Like I have to turn the sensitivity down too low, and then it's just annoying. So because I get motion sickness when I move my mouse when I have two mouse and
Yeah,
keyboard.
that's a huge problem. Just when it goes fast like that, that's when it really
Yeah,
will mess you up.
right. And then when I turn that sensitivity down all the way or turn it down low enough to where I don't get sick, I turn around so it's so hard to turn and play the game that it's just like this isn't working. I just don't want to do this. So then I just plug the controller in. But enough about those games. Let's talk about we got to talk about board games. Or how about, and better yet, a card game. This is Chase Van Bolt Blast Off. And you got this from Omaha Comic Con?
Yeah, from old Comic Con, baby. So I, as soon as I walked in the door, I went to our buddy Carl Smith of Goad Kicker fame and Mega. And the first thing he said to me is, "Oh, there's a guy over here I wanted to introduce you to," and it was Darren Neely, the creator
Nice.
of this game. And this game is pretty basic, but it's fun. It's called, as you just said, Chase Van Bolt Blast Off. My copy is for 2 to 4 players, ages 5 and above. I did get a text message, and I will double check it, but it said there's some updates to said game.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm old.
I
I'm
saw
old and
that.
I can't remember everything.
Yeah, I saw that from Eddie.
Yeah, the card count has been increased to accommodate up to 6 players.
Nice.
Um, developed optional science and sabotage cards to add a little take that to the game. which it does
Ooh.
not really have right now. You can withhold, but you can't really do a take that on this game.
Okay.
So what the game is you are one of four, I don't know, astronauts, pilots trying to launch your ship.
All
You can
right.
be Chase, Tomo, Sputnik the chimp,
Which
or a
is
guy
really
named
the awesome
Rex.
one.
Yeah. So what you got is you have a deck of cards. My deck is pretty big cards. They're probably 3x5s.
Okay.
So they're pretty good size. And you shuffle up this deck of cards, and each character has their own colors. Like Rex here is the brown character. So you deal 5 cards face down in front of everybody, and then you give them 2 cards in their hand. You take the remaining cards, put it in the middle, flip the top one over, and you're ready to begin. And what you're trying to do is, in the cards in front of you, flip over 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, like, here's the 5.
Okay.
In the color of your character, and have the character card in your hand and the color coordinated blast off card in your hand. If you're able to do all that and have those, and you yell blast off and you win.
Okay. Sounds simple
Um,
enough.
yeah. So on your turn, you can either draw a face down card off the pile, or take the face up card. So you're only allowed to have 3 in your hand at the end of your turn. If you have one of the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 cards, you can put it in its space, and then take the card that was face down in that space and put it in your hand. But then you have to discard one of the cards.
Gotcha.
So once you do that, then the next person can choose whether to take the card you discarded or pull the one off the top, and you just go round and round until somebody wins, basically. It sounds pretty simple because it is. The rules are pretty easy, which is great because it's a good filler game when you sit down and everybody has still got ADD and you haven't got everybody's attention. This is a good warm up.
Yeah.
I think it would be a good game if you have kids who like to play card games. Um, so teaching them the game is pretty simple in those aspects. Um, there's not a ton of strategy. It's a card game, luck of the draw.
Sure.
There's a little bit where you can watch what everybody else needs, and if you actually have one of their cards they need in your hand, you can hold on to it for a while. So there's a little bit of that. Take that. Um, Other than that, it's just trying to get your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 as fast as you can. Hand management, so you're not discarding a card you need, that kind of thing. Another way to win is each character has 3 cards, the 7, 8, 9.
Mm-hmm.
If you have all 3 of these cards in your hand, you're supposed to yell, "Stop the countdown! There's an imposter," and then you win. Then you win the game.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, so it's kind of fast paced. It kind of reminds me of like when you were a kid, you'd play Go Fish or War or something like that. That kind of quickness.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it reminds me of. If things get to the point where you know when you run out of the cards, you can shuffle them back, the discard pile, shuffle it back up, and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
It does say in the rules there are times that you can just keep going through that thing, and everybody's holding on to the card somebody else needs, and you can't get this game won. He does have these wild cards that you can put in there that can substitute for something else, but you're only allowed to have one in your tableau
Gotcha.
for your countdown. So
Can you
kind of
switch?
help
Can you switch
speed things
multiple
along.
cards to your countdown? So, like, if you, let's say, you draw the 5 card and you put that down in the 5 spot and draw up that, and that's the 4. card, can you put the 4 card down in the spot and pull that back up, or do you have to still discard a
You still have to
card?
discard, and that's where your hand management comes.
Okay.
So, and it happened to me once. I had my player card, my blast off card. I think I put down the 3, pulled it up, and it was the 2.
Oh,
So now it's like I have to discard one of the cards I need.
yeah.
So, there's more than one of each, I think. Let me double check that. There may only be one of each on the countdowns.
That would make it even harder right there.
In my deck, there's only one of each of the countdown colors. So if you had to discard anything, I think you'd have to discard the player card because there's at least 3 of those, and you have another shot at getting him back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can happen to you. You're like,
Whew.
sweet, I play the 5, I draw the 4. Now I've got to discard it, so
Oh.
yeah. So it's a fun little just get started kind of game. Something you could play with your boys. Something you
Yeah.
could play over lunchtime real quick, play, 2-3 games over lunch. It's pretty fast. I am looking forward to getting more cards to see, with 6 players how it plays. That would be interesting to find out. But yeah, I've had a good time with it.
Well,
It's just been one of those games where, you know how it is. You have a game night, and 2 or 3 of you are there, and you're still waiting on the other people to show up so you can play a big game. This is a perfect one to pull out.
Yeah.
And you probably get 2 or 3 before your slacker friend finally shows up.
Yeah, I understand how that can happen.
Yeah. So you're wondering, Kip, how can I get a hold of this game?
That's what I was just going to ask. Is this game still in development? Because I can't find it anywhere.
Well, the only thing I have is a web address for facebook.com/Chase Van Bolt.
Oh, there you go.
So you will find all the information you need there. I also know there is a possibility of a Kickstarter on this one. Let me read my text message again.
Chase Van Bolt.
Yeah, looking to build awareness and go for a Kickstarter next year. So pay attention to the Facebook page. You could maybe find a way to get a hold of a copy through that. Or if you're patient, you can do the Kickstarter, which I'm sure is going to have some additional cards and things. I'm putting words in this guy's mouth. I probably should stop. But there's always some sort of incentive. So I'm not even going to speculate.
Hey.
There may be good incentives for the Kickstarter, but you know what? It's a fun little game. I would recommend it to keep in your work backpack or whatever, or a desk drawer or something, because those kind of games can pop up at any time. Or like, hey, I have one if we want to just play. This one's perfect for that.
That is really cool. That is
it is
really cool. Yeah, and it looks like this card game is actually based off of a comic book.
Off of what?
Comic book. Chase Van Bolt by Darren
he's
Neely.
Also a comic book writer, graphic designer, and an Adobe Illustrator guru. So this Darren Neely does it all.
He does, man. He does. That is awesome. Yeah, you and I kept talking about trying to get together to find a time to play this, and we still need to do that because I haven't got to play yet. Because you have the copy and I don't have one.
I know, and I can't get you.
You and I just have. Anywhere. I know we just have this hard time of like being able to meet at the same spot, like to be at the same spot at the same time. It's like if we do, then the universe will collapse in on itself, and a black hole will be created, and we all be sucked into our death. And we don't.
If we played this game together and you went to the movie before I did, the world would not be able to handle it.
Yeah, so we had to keep things separate. And it has nothing to do with the fact that I have 2 kids and I'm so freaking busy. Yeah, but
And it has nothing to do with the fact that we live pretty much opposite sides of the metro area
yeah,
and work opposite
Eh,
sides of the
especially
metro
yeah,
area.
yeah, especially now that you've moved offices. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're even farther apart now. So yeah,
But I have a pretty flexible job, so we will have to get together so you can try it out.
yeah, we will.
I
Yes,
played with
we
two
will.
people. I haven't played with the full complement of four, which I'd like to try.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
This will surprise you. The first time we played it wrong. And it went by really fast. It's like took like 2 minutes. Like I can't believe it's over already. And then got to reading the rules. Oh yeah, that's not the winning condition. Okay, so we reshuffled and did it again, and then it took like 3 times longer, and then we had a lot more fun. So
Yeah,
read the rules, kids. And if you
rules
can't
are
read the
important.
rules, stay in school till you can.
Yeah, no, that's no. It sounds like a really good game, and it sounds kind of yeah. It does. You had made the comment that it would be perfect for my kids, and I think you're right because it kind of fits right in that same kind of niche that Witch Slapped fits for us. You know, something that doesn't take long to set up. You can throw it out there, and you can play a quick game. You're done in 5 minutes or less, and you're moving on. And
Right.
so then you can play a couple of rounds, and uh, that always works out better.
And the rules are so easy, your kids would remember how to play and wouldn't even need you around if they didn't want. If
Yeah,
it was just them and a couple of friends or whatever,
yeah,
it'd be easy enough for them to pick up and just go. So
yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'll have to. I'm gonna keep an eye on that now. I need to follow this Facebook page so I can watch for that Kickstarter because I will definitely be back in that sucker. That'll be cool. I like it. I need another Kickstarter to back. I haven't backed one in a while.
same here. It's been a while. It's it's kind of refreshing to see stuff like that and not the minis laden takes
Yes.
$100 to get a copy kind of thing. It's nice to see something um, more accessible, I guess is the best way to put it.
Right. Yeah. Yep. I
Yep.
agree. Especially after something else that we did. Speaking of board games and things that are less accessible that my kids can just play on their own, we played another round of the Legends of Dritz board game.
Oh yeah.
This time we actually won, so that was good. We played one of the earlier missions or adventures, not missions. One of the earlier adventures, and with a few, we also took out all the extra hard stuff. We, so when you get the game back, you will have your deck of cards split into two decks. One is the advanced deck, and one is the not advanced deck. So you're
Gotcha.
welcome.
I'm just glad the thing's getting played. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
yeah,
I played it a bunch, but solo.
right.
So I'm glad to see it's getting a multiplayer game.
Yeah,
You're getting multiplayer games out of it.
it is getting some in there, and Reese actually went through and read this time after we got done. We weren't in a huge hurry, and so he went and took the book and the adventure book and was flipping through there looking at the different adventures. Because I mean, you don't have to do them in any order; they're standalone adventures. So I told him, well, we'll go through there and look and see if there's one that sounds interesting, and then we can do that one next. And so he had found some that he thought looked cool. So we might actually, since I'm home with the kids tomorrow, we might actually break that out tomorrow and give it a shot. So
Very good.
board games are getting played, Kip. They're
I
getting
like it.
played. So
Yeah, this will be my second week in a row where I don't get to play a board game. So
oh, you still traveling?
no, I just got shit going on this week, and I can't make Whiskey Wednesday. I can't make board games on Thursday. It's
Oh,
just Yeah, there's no reason to live this week.
Cats and dogs living together.
Mass hysteria. Yeah, but next week I'm all good, and then the following week I'm gone, and then I'm back and I'll be good for that week, and then the following week after that I'm gone. So it's hit or miss till December.
Yeah, well, it's that time of year, so.
Yeah,
All right, everybody, go check out Chase Van Bolt at facebook.com/Chase Van Bolt. That is
all one word.
ChaseVanBolt. You'll get it right. Just spell it how it sounds. Chase Van Bolt. All one word on Facebook. Go check out that game because it looks really cool. And go check out the comic book. I'm definitely going to be checking out Darren Neely's comic book here, too. So let's see what I can find.
Do it now.
I need some more comic books to read. I've been reading old Transformers. I've been reading the Spotlights, which these are IDW ones. They're not really that old. They're early 2000s, and but they're spotlights to where they're just about one character. They kind of have one headlining character, and like Hoist or Thundercracker, or one of them was Orion Pax, who is, and if you didn't know, is Optimus Prime before he became Optimus Prime. So it was
There you
kind of
have it.
cool. Those have been kind of fun to read, but there's a lot of them, so I'm still trying to get caught up on all those. I've decided I'm no longer reading any comic books that are in current continuity. They just became too hard for me to follow. Too many different twists and turns and different books connecting, and too many big events, and I just couldn't keep up with it. So I went to books that are already published and done, and stories that are already either finished, or I'll just catch them in big trades at the end because it's just too hard to keep track of ongoing stuff.
It is tough. I mean, I'm not a big comic book reader because I just haven't found anything that gets my attention. But when I have, like Saga, and what was
Yeah.
the other one?
Y the Last Man.
Yeah, it was like it goes on forever, and you're like, I just can't do this that
Yeah.
as much as I would like, and then the next thing you know, you're months behind, and like, oh crap, yeah.
Yep.
It just sucks
Yeah.
being an adult. Don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. If you can stay a kid, if you are listening to this and you are staying a kid, stay a kid as long as you can. Don't
Yeah,
try to go up too fast.
instead of the campaign to say kids stay in school, it's just kids stay a kid.
Yeah.
It's much easier.
Yeah.
Your
Well, and
parents won't agree.
speaking of that, I saw a meme on Facebook, and we are like going down rabbit holes after rabbit holes on this episode, and I apologize to anyone listening to this and it's tired of me
I don't.
rambling. But this is what we do sometimes when we just start going. And I saw this meme that was, what would you tell if you could sit down with your 16-year-old self? What would you tell them? And the first thing that came to my head was, just stay 16. Don't get older. Like, just enjoy all that moment that you have. Don't try to be an adult at 16. Just
Yeah.
have fun, slack off, you know, just do what you can to enjoy your time then. And because when it's gone. And
That's a big no shit.
yeah, so
Yeah, you can't wait to grow up, and then when you do, it's like, oh, where did the time go?
yeah. Somebody asked me if I would go back to college, and I'm like, hell yeah. If I could go back to college and have the minimal amount of expenses and have the just have the free time and the fun that I had while I was in college, hell yeah, I'd go back then. Like, I love that time. That was good times. But you know, not saying that what I have now is bad. I enjoy everything that I have now, but I would really like the free time. You know,
I
the
hear you.
the get up at 10 o'clock in the morning. What am I gonna do today? I don't know. I think I'm gonna play a video game today. That's all I did. So yeah, I kind of miss being able to do that.
Yeah, when your time was your own, That was the best.
Yeah. Or like be able to take even shortly after college, I would take a day off of work just to play a video game. Like now, if I take a day off of work, it's like the list of things that I need to do before I can get to play a video game is so long. It's just like I don't even want to take the day off of work. I'd rather go to work.
Yeah. Yeah, the worst thing that can happen to me is like I get Friday afternoons off and the you know, the Thursday night before we didn't get the laundry folded, and so the worst thing that happens to me is Friday I have to fold the laundry before I can start playing video games or something. It's like
Right.
then you're like, life is so unfair, but that's just being a wuss at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not that big of a deal, but it's like, like, oh, well, you know what? I need to, because I think it was last Saturday morning. They, the rain had held off just enough that I needed to mow my backyard because I hadn't mowed it in like a month and a half. And it was a jungle back there after all the rain we'd got. So I shouldn't have been mowing because the ground was too wet and I was digging ruts in my yard with my mower, but it had to get done. And if it wasn't getting done then, it was going to be another week before it was going to get done. So it's like, instead of, at 9 o'clock in the morning, instead of propping my feet up and watching something on TV or playing a game with the kids, I walked my happy ass outside in the cold, crappy weather and mowed my backyard.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I get Friday afternoons off, and then Saturday morning the wife has to work. So you think college football guy, Saturday mornings, all I'm going to do is watch College Game Day? I have yet to watch more than an hour of College Game Day.
Yeah, because you sit there and you tell yourself, like, you might even sit there and turn it on and then go, oh, I really need to do this. I really
Yeah.
need to do this. I shouldn't be
Yep.
sitting here because I got this stuff to do. Yeah, I feel you.
Yep. So, like I said, your time is not your own. So, if you're in a spot in your life where your time is your own, don't get out of that spot.
That's
Stay
right.
there.
Enjoy it while you got it. All right, enough of our ramblings. Gee, crime
Yeah,
and
that was
nittling
kind of
trigger.
sad and pathetic.
We're just going all over the place. What am I doing here? I need to get to the right screen. Here we are. All right, guys, you know the drill. Go check us out on our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. There could be some secret stuff showing up on that blog from our good friend over there, Kip. He has some cool ideas coming in the next couple weeks. So stay tuned to that and watch the blog because that's where it'll be. That and the podcast um, links wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/geekvice. You can also check out Chase Van Zandt. Chase Van Zandt, that's a whole different thing. Chase Van
Yeah.
Bolt. You can follow them on Facebook too. Facebook.com/slash Chase Van Bolt. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Geekvice. That guy over there, he's at Kip Killigan. You could subscribe to our YouTube channel, do that through our Facebook page, but if YouTube's broken, then I don't know if it'll work or not. You can sure try it though. I'm sure it'll get fixed here soon. And oh, of course, as always, you can email us at geekvice@gmail.com. Thanks everyone for listening to our ramblings, and we will see you next time.
Later.
This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.